For millions of Americans, food prices have been out of control for quite some time. But now the Trump administration says that they hear what Americans are saying and they are going to roll back prices. But exactly how are they going to do that? Well, this is where President Trump says they are going to reduce tariffs. Look at this. It says Trump rolls back tariffs on dozens of food products. I want to explain why though, and I want to read this. It says the U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order allowing a range of food products, including coffee, bananas, and beef, to escape his sweeping tariffs. The move comes as his administration faces mounting pressure over rising prices. While Trump previously downplayed concerns about the cost of living, he has focused on the issue since his Republican Party's poor performance in last week's elections. It says the dozens of products included on the White House's list of exemptions range from avocados and tomatoes to coconuts and mangoes. It says these goods, the Trump administration said on Friday, cannot be produced in sufficient quantities domestically. And many people have been saying this exact same thing, that what about those products that we cannot produce here in the United States, or we physically cannot manufacture here in the United States because of certain issues? Well, President Trump and the Trump administration now say, well, if we can't produce it in sufficient quantities here in the United States, then maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't be hit with a tariff when we do bring them into the U.S. Now listen to this.
Affordability, they call it, was a con job by the Democrats. We did a great job on groceries and affordability. The only problem is the fake news. You people don't want to report it. My administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living, restore public safety, grow our economy, and make America affordable again.
So here's the latest this morning. President Donald Trump pivoting to affordability after boasting about his administration's economic accomplishments. The White House now making a push for a tariff deal, announcing new deals with countries in Latin America and potentially elsewhere. Bloomberg's Mika Sal.
One of the things that is happening right now, because President Trump made this deal with multiple countries in Latin America. Great. We also made a deal with Switzerland just the other day, bringing our tariff from 39% all the way down to 15%. That's going to be substantial as well. But what many people are now talking about, and this is where Trump's economic advisors are going to advise him on the right moves, but what they're now talking about is there's going to be many different countries that are going to see certain tariffs come down. They're going to have a benchmark tariff, but on certain items, they will be excluded, meaning prices for the American people are about to come down. Now, I said this yesterday. For all those people that are hoping for this $2,000 tariff rebate check, it's still on the table, but if President Trump continues to cut tariffs on other countries, this will actually, it's not going to eliminate a $2,000 tariff rebate check, but what it will do is it's going to make it a lot less likely for future years because our tariff revenue will be brought down. Now, I want to play a couple other things for you as well. Watch this one.
The administration is desperately searching around for a solution to their political problem, and they found one that is a truly brilliant idea. How about we remove some of the tariffs on goods people buy that are driving prices up? Now, if only they could find the clown that imposed those tariffs in the first place. Congressman Brendan Boyle is a Democrat from Pennsylvania representing North Philadelphia, and he joins me now. Congressman, I really did have to chuckle today when I saw today's announcement after they so strenuously told us that tariffs don't jack up prices, that they're going to now be giving tariff relief for grocery items like bananas and coffee and other things that clearly have gone up in price and clearly been affected by the tariffs.
Before he says anything, I want to just preface this by saying this. Okay, we knew coming in that if we impose tariffs on items, it had to increase the prices for the American people. Okay, that is just something that we knew, but yet we were told no, it's not going to increase prices. We won't see runaway inflation. And even though we have inflation at 3% and The Fed says it's contained, right? We are going to slowly start bringing it down. Here's the problem. If the Republican Party is saying that this doesn't create inflation, but yet it does create inflation and prices are going up, well, how do we fix that? How do we solve that problem? Well, if prices go up because we're charging additional tariffs, the way that we make it right is we give the American people the money that was paid in. And that's exactly what the Trump administration is saying. So, does it create additional inflation? Yes, partially. But at the same time, could we offset this by giving the American people that benefit in return? Give them a check, give them a tax credit or a rebate, find a way to give that money back to the American people and put it in their pocket? The answer is yes. And that's, according to the reports, what the Trump administration is trying to do. Let's keep listening to this.
The brilliance will take your breath away. Yeah, congratulations, President Trump, for putting out part of the fire that you yourself started about 6 months ago. But already damage has been done to our economy. The average household in the United States will pay more than $1,800 more than they otherwise would have paid for household goods from last spring up until this upcoming spring.
$1,800. That's the one figure I wanted to play for you. I want you to understand what tariffs are going to do to the average household. $1,800. Think about this for a second. For many, that's going to pay for a month's worth of rent. That's going to pay several months worth of a car payment. That's going to put food on the table for 3 months, 4 months. That's a substantial amount of money. But this is why it's such an important figure. $1,800 per household. That's big. President Trump is offering $2,000 tariff rebate checks. So essentially, for every household, we are rising prices by about $1,800. But yet, President Trump is going to give you additional $2,000 tariff rebate check. So that's going to offset it, and you're going to actually come out with a surplus of probably $200. That sounds pretty good, right? That's exactly what the Trump administration is trying to do. And again, this is where some experts are having a tough time with it. Because what Democrats do is they say, hey, we're going to charge additional taxes. And then they charge the additional taxes and they give that money to certain people for food assistance, for housing assistance, for insurance, for other things, right? There's so many different things. And then now Republicans are doing kind of the same thing, saying, hey, we're going to charge these tariffs, but yet here's what we're going to do. We're going to give this money back to you, but you got to go and file your taxes. You got to go and do this, and you're going to qualify through this avenue. And that's where some say, no, we don't like it. But the big news is this. The Trump administration is bringing prices down on food. I want to play something else for you.
President Trump issuing an executive order to drop reciprocal tariffs on dozens of food items, including staples like coffee, beef, bananas, and tomatoes. The move marks a major push by the administration to address Americans' concerns over persistently high prices. Here's the president last night.
Look, for the most part, the foods, when we cut back a little bit on those tariffs, we'll get the price down, but they're not competitive in this country, like tomatoes and bananas and things. We don't make them in this country. So there's no protection of our industries or our food products. You have to understand, we've all suffered from the Biden prices, which were much higher than they are right now. But I'll be able to get them down even lower, at least a little bit lower, possibly in some cases a lot lower.
The new exemptions fueled by price increases you might be seeing at your grocery stores. As of September, the average retail price for coffee is up more than 40% in the past year.
And that's not all. Bananas and ground beef prices are also soaring. Bananas up 6.6% since last year, and ground beef up 11.5%. That's well ahead of the overall inflation rate of about 3%.
This is good news.
So right there. Bananas up 8.6%, ground beef up 11.5%, and then you got ground roast coffee up 41.3% from last September to this September. Now, we are going to start to see some more accurate information, and this is what we're hearing. According to multiple insiders who want to be anonymous. They are saying that what's going to happen once all this data comes out, because keep in mind, being that the federal government has been shut down since October 1st, and it was shut down for what, 43 days, 44 days, something like that, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. We missed out on so much data, on a lot of the CPI information, a lot of the jobs report, which we're going to have a new jobs report for September, will be released on in November, this coming Thursday. All this information is going to tell us where we're headed. But again, just this upcoming report isn't going to do us justice. We need to get the next 2 to 3, which means we're going to be behind about 2 months. Keep that in mind, that right now what we're hearing is that if we are seeing additional increases in food prices, there's a good chance the Trump administration, likely in December, but most likely in January, that's the highest likelihood, sometime in January, they're going to propose reducing tariffs on more products. And again, likely food. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But as of today, that's what we know. The Trump administration last night decided we are going to reduce tariffs on food products coming from some of these Latin American countries. That's big news, because that means prices for you are eventually going to come down. Now, it's not going to happen over the next couple of weeks, but expect it within the next month to 2 months. Prices will start to drop, especially for things that don't have a long shelf life. So again, fruits, vegetables, ground beef, these are things that are likely going to come down in price, likely over the next couple of weeks. But things like coffee, which we've already received into the United States, that right there is probably going to come down in the next month or 2. So that's at least what we're hearing from many economists. But as we get more information on that, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get it. As of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.